Grace and peace. Y'all might hear somebody come in, two brothers. I don't know, one was in here. I don't think he was studying. I think he was sleeping. Another brother's getting ready to have some lunch in here. They're all from the, well, I don't know, one of them are from the class. But do me a favor, as y'all come and type a one in there so I can make sure that y'all are hearing me okay. Sometime I hear a little popping over in the corner. I want to talk about, all right, good to see you. Good to see you, Apostle. Oh, Apostle, do me a favor. Yesterday, we were talking, and we said that we were going to do a part 4, but I'm not sure if you knew that tomorrow was the Sabbath. Tomorrow's Saturday, I believe. It's Friday, I think it is today. So I'm not sure if you wanted to pick it up from Monday. I just wanted to remind you. You let me know, or I'll try to give you a ring after after this class. I think I get out the next class at 4. The last class for the day at 4:20. Good to see you, Rev C. I'm glad Rev C is here. One thing I can say is we have a group of individuals. I love this morning teaching. Yeah, Green, we've been gutting it in. Yes, you are right. Yes, okay, we're gonna pick it up from Monday morning. We're gonna have a part 4. It's a good chance that, as the Lord leads, that we'll continue with this, because this level of teaching, this type of stuff need to be out. Y'all do me a favor and just, share the video with a friend and stuff like that. We just want to get the information out there. We want to know that we want God's people to know that there's some voices out there that's speaking for God. There's no secret agenda. I like what the apostles say. A lot of us been building churches. Even when I start coming up on the subject of the whole Black Lives Matter movement and everything, a lot of us we've been asleep building cathedrals, building nice buildings, and building personal ministries. That's what a lot of people have been doing. As opposed to doing God's work, they've been doing personal ministry. But I want to talk about something. I was online last night looking at some stuff. Y'all know me from earlier videos. I got my old preaching shirt on. I got my without the collar, minus the collar. But I would always, especially back in the day, maybe I stopped like a dash year, I would always teach or get on and do my talks, lectures, or whatever we want to call them, with the black shirt on, my black Kurdish shirt, minus the collar. But being that I'm here and I'm doing classes, I'm stuff with brothers, and we church to church, and I'm doing church multiple times a day, multiple times a week, I have to start wearing other stuff, being that I'm around other people, and I'm just not recording in the man cave. So I'm looking around and I came across some stuff, and I want to ask y'all, who's in here? Everybody type of one so I can see who's in here. Rev C, I came across some shirts and stuff, and it said Black Lives Matter. And I know that that's a touchy subject, and people are always telling me on top of that, you got to be careful the way you're moving. All right, I see the Catholic guy in here. I'm going to need some help from him. You got to be careful the way you're moving, and you're a public figure, and you got a channel, and these younger ministers just listening to you, and just even in street, and now even so more that I'm in a class. Well, and I know there's a lot of believers that feel a certain way. How do y'all feel about this whole Black Lives Matter thing? Last week, twice I got emails from some people that I'm seeing post online that there's a lot of people that are saying this is not of God. Good to see you, Pastor Tony. And Pastor Tony, I want to hear some comments from you too. Because you're in a unique situation with this in ministry, and I often talk to people about the church and the church being diverse in Antioch, and why don't we see more diversity? I'm getting back to the Black Lives Matter t-shirt. Why don't we see more diversity in our churches? If God and color doesn't make a difference in the church, you should see more what people will call quote-unquote mixed marriages than anywhere else. I'm just throwing this out there. Father, Catholic guy, help me out. So I ran across the Black Lives Matter t-shirt. Then I thought to myself right before, well, I'm going to get into it, right when I'm about to click it, I thought for a minute, what impression will I give to individuals by wearing this shirt here? Y'all help me out. I need somebody to help me out with that Black Lives Matter thing, because a lot of people are very upset that the church is anybody that's out there that's involved in Black Lives Matter. Some people say, y'all got to stop rioting. This Black Lives Matter. Y'all got to stop rioting. Talking to the children, the saints' children right now that's out there, they saying, y'all got to stop rioting. This is terrorism, and we shouldn't have nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. It's an ungodly Marxist LGBT or movement. I'm going to park right here. What do y'all think about that? Black Lives Matter and believers, as believers, people, as y'all come into the room, as believers come into the room, believers on the Most High God, believers on the Lord Jesus Christ. Somebody said, Reverend C said, I got a teaching on that. He said, I got a lot of black Catholics. And yeah, John, I want to hear from John too. John been saying some good stuff in the comments. What do y'all think about that? First of all, does a movement, there's a few things we're going to bring out. Does a Black Lives Matter, the group is funded by George. So, all right, well, we got to talk about George being a billionaire. Is he running amok? Is he trying to push a Marxist agenda? Is this thing deeper than George and they're just taking a platform and blacks being angry with this platform with the brother Floyd's death, and are they taking it somewhere else? Because in the past we have had movements that's been hijacked for other agendas. They started off as one thing. That's how come I told y'all gotta hear what the word of the Lord is in this hour. There's a lot of well-meaning people that'll get out here and they'll do one thing, and something will start off one way and the enemy comes in and turns it into something else. Hold on, I'm gonna see my man say, anybody who speaks emotionally against Black Lives Matter movement are racist or confused black people. And I'm glad you know that, because there are a lot of black Christians and pastors and ministers that's saying stuff like that. So I'm glad I'm bringing this out right now. And I got some sensible believers up in here, anointed believers up in here, educated believers up in here. We got to see past the movement. When the way started with Messiah in the beginning, and then the apostle Saul got called and other people came into ministry, ministry began to grow. They didn't want to spread out, but because of persecution, because of the apostle Paul, they started to spread out. The death of Stephen, the deacon, in Acts the 7th chapter, they started spreading out, going places. And Philip met the Ethiopian, and the word of the Lord is spreading, and the church is growing. The apostle Paul gets saved on the road to Damascus, and he end up setting up shop in Antioch. As the movement began to grow, as the movement began to stir, and people were getting saved, and people were getting delivered, and people were getting killed for the way. That's what they called it. People got killed for the way by Roman soldiers. They were burnt at the stake. They were chopped and cut open, sawed asunder, and everything was happening to them. They, without a Bible, without the King James Bible, they were dying for their faith, and God was leading them, and the movement was growing. But as time went on, the movement got hijacked. So movements have always been getting hijacked from the very beginning. But what do we do with the Black Lives Matter movement in light of believers? All right, hold on. I want to hear what Green is saying. Black lives definitely matter, but this agenda is being pushed by the state for a reason and a different agenda. Agendas within agendas. We've had that happen multiple times. Agendas within agenda. Somebody sees something, I'm going to take that over and I'm going to make moves within that agenda. I'm going to do something within that agenda. And the thing that's hurtful is because the people of God are dull of hearing the voice of the Lord and so used to following religion and following the man of God. Any man of God, they can just put some money out and the man of God, come on, you politicians, you people, come over here and I'll start preaching. You don't know, sometimes pastors are getting people that's influencing them, that's Luciferians, that's occultists, that's involved, that's just political people that have different philosophies, and they'll start funding a mission and they'll start swaying the message. That's why a lot of researchers, a lot of people that's out here, y'all radicals are scared of some 501 pastors. Can they muzzle you with same-sex marriage? Can they muzzle you with certain things? And this is what got some people offended. But do the spirit of the movement, because they talk about the girl, and one girl's name is Alicia Garcia, Garza. Garza's father is Jewish, and her mother's of African descent, and her father's Jewish, but her and the other girl, Color, and her friend or her partner, they're saying that there's an LGBT influence there, because they're pushing a queer agenda, and they want to speak up for people that have been abused, transgender, and other people. So now this thing is closely linked. Because remember, people been telling us for a long time, being gay is like being black. Oh, wait a minute. Now, some of y'all may feel like that. I don't want to bother y'all. Some of y'all may feel it's the same way. Being gay is like being black, so we got to fight together. The two movements got to fight together. When we start talking about Black Lives Matter, this is one of the main reasons that you have other evangelicals that saying this is not Bible at all. The church needs to stay away from it. Kenneth Jefferson, I say names, he said, nope, it's not the same. Plain and simple. That's a slap in our face to our ancestors. I agree with you 100%. When people start talking about y'all shouldn't be involved in this stuff because they're terrorists, they're breaking windows, Soros is behind them, LGBT is behind them, and all that other stuff, Dre said not even close. When they start saying all of that other stuff, it's a problem because before the term Black Lives Matter came on the scene, and let me give you a little background, Black Lives Matter, the term came on the scene in 2013. Thank you so much, Glass. LGBT is a front for the LGBT, HIV. This is discussed, and a lot of people. I saw your comment the other day, Glass. I said I was going to wait till this came up. Black Lives Matter started in 2013 after the death of Trayvon Martin when George Zimmerman, he's still alive? Is George Zimmerman still alive? Somebody type yes or no down in there. At 2013 after George Zimmerman got off for killing Trayvon Martin. They said it wasn't a killing, and they tried to bring up a whole bunch of other stuff. Mike Shaw, I wonder why. Hill, I wonder why. He's still around, I wonder why. And this is why some people believe in secret societies and believe in movements and militias and that's a whole nother thing. I'm going to get into the police officers and how they're buying guns and they're preparing for certain things. But what do we do with that? So the Black Lives Matter movement started in 2013 when these young ladies and some other individuals started getting together. Hill, we're going to talk. And started getting together and discussing certain things. But what I don't like is people are trying to, how soon we are to forget. People don't know that the Black Lives Matter, that name might have been hashtagged in 2013, but people have always been, it's always been a Black Lives Matter movement in this country. Almost from the beginning, coming out of slavery, Harriet Tubman and Nat Turner, they were down with Black Lives Matter. They were trying to make some moves even back then. This is why I say we got to be careful. We got to be wise in what's going on in this hour, because these people will try to say, forget about that. Forget about that. Let me see souls of our ancestors saying this is moving us towards the one world agenda. I'm going to do a live on Soros alone and what Bill Gates and some of the billionaires feel, and then we're going to talk about the Georgia Guidestones and just see if they're right. The elite feel you people don't know how to, y'all are just out get out here because of this religion and be fruitful and multiply, and we got to feed y'all. So the millionaires are thinking a certain way about air, about oxygen, about water, about food, and you people just want to be out here making babies and living life. We got to govern the people. We got to govern the regular people. That's the mindset of the elite. So they got to teach us about religion, and they got to take the whole of humanity in a certain direction. But going back to Black Lives Matter, some people said it was never about God in the beginning because there were people that were always fighting for the black cause in this country, and we've always had slavery. We've always had racism. Why would people, a black and a brown people, be so worried about it right now in this country? Hold on, I want to see what John say. He said he's still a violent man and he keeps telling on himself and getting off scot-free. I seen him signing some flags. I'm not sure how true that is, but it can't go on for too much longer. He's gotten a couple of brushes with the law after that. But what are we going to do with this thing? If we go back, they're trying to say, a lot of evangelicals, anything Black Lives Matter, being caught up in social justice and social issues, have nothing to do with the kingdom of God. Now, we got plenty of scriptures, and they claim that they have plenty of scriptures also. If Jesus was here today walking around physically, if Moses, if Joshua, if Jeremiah, if Isaiah, if the holy prophet speaking for God was here, if Enoch was here, would they be part of social justice? Would they be part of the movement? And I want to tell y'all too, I want y'all to know that there are white pastors, there are white elders and ministers that's walking around here with Black Lives Matter shirts too. Let's not get it twisted. We got a lot of brothers and sisters and brothers that's married to blacks, interracially married, should I say, within the body of Christ. And this is something in the forefront. Listen, I'm raising biracial children, and they're saying stuff like this. So they're saying Black Lives Matter. But then I got some other folk. Y'all running around here saying all lives matter. And I agree that all lives matter. All lives matter, but black lives are the ones that's in trouble right now. Now, of course, somebody will come and say, turn the energy to Chicago and the killings, and we can talk about all of that. But what do we do with things like that as believers, the body of Christ? As believers, what do we do with stuff like that? Some people say it started to go sideways from the very beginning because there were people that were devil worshipers. You know, we got the Masonic occultic devil worship. Everybody's a devil worshiper that's a Freemason. But we got to remember, Mello, that Prince Hall and them, Prince Hall, Richard Allen, Absalom Jones, there were some Christian elders that were squares. When we start talking about squares, I want to talk about the Greeks and the squares. When we talk about Greeks, we're talking about alphas, we're talking about deltas, we're talking about all the divine nine. We're talking about all Greek fraternities. When we talk about squares, we're talking about Prince Hall Freemasons. They have been heavy for the cause from the beginning of the country almost. For the last 100 years, they've been putting in plenty work for the cause. But now, of course, the church, we want to throw them away and call them all devils and say that's not right. But there's a lot of people that's saying from the beginning, because so many of them were ministers and they were Prince Hall and they were just trying to do for the cause, for the people, that we got to throw away everything that they've done. Let's talk about that. Berean, line up with me in Chicago. John, oh, that's right, John, you down there, right? I think I got your number on the other phone. The Messiah would have been considered a radical and masses would have hated him just as they did during his time. Thank you in the super chat. That was Souls of Our Ancestors. Somebody else said, I don't pick sides. What do you think about that? Can you not pick sides? That's a whole nother thing. Can you not pick sides? Can you be neutral in this whole thing? Well, I don't know, they riot in, they just don't make no sense. Because I tend to separate the rioters and the looters, and I don't want to just put everything in the pot and mix it together. And we all have a tendency to do that. I used to think that the urban apologists used to do it against when you use the term Israel, but everybody have a tendency of lumping people together. This is where we prejudice come from. We'll prejudge a person, and then when they'll find somebody unique, oh, you're not like those other black guys, and we'll get statements like that because automatically our default is to just lump people together, and that's just something that happened. I marched in Black Lives Matter, but I don't get down with the LGBT. Now, that's where somebody would say, as a believer, can you march side by side with somebody for a cause, or should we totally back away from it all together? This stuff isn't going away. This talk isn't going away. And we have some young people that are believers, and they're getting out there. They're not with the rioting. They're attempting to stop it. They have bullhorns. They want to control the clouds. No, don't break none of this glass over here. But then you got some wild, masked up people that's coming and just throwing rocks out of nowhere. We have piles of rocks that just showing up somewhere, piles of stones showing up where there's no construction. We got strange things going on in the midst of all of this stuff. Part of the problem that we see with this whole move and people talking about God and it's the devil and it's the Illuminati and cops are being exposed, a lot of what's happening been going on. Let me tell you all that right there. A lot of what's happening been going on, but we have so many cell phones. Police trying to take people into custody. I'm not going to call it police brutality. Police attempting to take people into custody has been caught on camera more than any single other thing, and that has stirred so much stuff. With everybody running around with a camcorder on these phones, they're just pulling out stuff. And some people say, well, y'all are not getting it in its proper context. And other people say, you are getting things in their proper context. And we've been telling y'all, like when the camcorders were jumping and somebody had a camcorder and caught Rodney King case 30 years ago, we weren't shocked in the hood. There were certain people who's like, oh, please, that's regular behavior. What's that? But the world was shocked when they caught the officers beating Rodney King like a dog. Souls of Our Ancestors said there's going to be a time when you can't ride the fence. Yes, you are going to have to stand firm in your belief. The only right side is the side of righteousness. Glory to God in the highest. And if you call yourself a righteous believer and you don't want to speak up on it, and that's like we tend to say in a lot of European evangelicals, and y'all don't want to speak for the cause because you're saying yes to the system. Remember, there were a lot of Europeans that they never spoke up against the Klan burning and lynching what's the name of the city down there in Oklahoma? Terrorizing people. Now, there was a bunch of good white Christians. They never spoke on it, but we often say that your silence is the violence. Y'all are perpetuating. If you don't speak on it and saying you're wrong, Tulsa, thank you, Rev. Tulsa, if you don't speak on it, automatically you're down with it. You want the cops doing what they doing. You want the Klan doing what they doing because you're part of the dominant culture. So can you really be a good believer and part of the dominant culture and allowing these things to happen if Jesus is in your heart? That's how come I can tell some of y'all got the Gentile Jesus, because the Gentile Jesus is an oppressor. He ain't the real Jesus of the Bible. I don't want to start, y'all. I don't want to start that. But we're just saying this. That's the only thing I can always equate it to. Who has the real Jesus? The people that have the real Jesus are going to show forth fruits. We're going to see behavior. We're going to see attitude. We're going to see their speech. They can't have racist speech. They can't have certain speech. You can't see someone abused and just keep going. But then again, you can. Because you got to remember, when we start dealing with Christ, when we start dealing with the Bible, Rev, we're gonna pick up on this Monday. When we start dealing with certain things, we got to remember that Christ, the majority of beef that Christ had with the Pharisees and the Sadducees, he didn't have beef with regular people. The religious people are my problem. I got beef with religious people right now, not hood folk. Hood folk like me. They like me. It's the religious people. And this the same thing with Messiah. Jesus had problem with the religious people and not the regular religious people, because they're hungry for truth. They had a desire to come and hear what he was saying. The same with John the Baptist. They went to the wilderness. They'll come to where truth is. That's why I laugh at them talking about, oh, YouTube ministry, Zoom ministry isn't really real ministry, when all of them jumping on it now because the government shut them down. God's leaders, God's preachers, the government got them all shut down right now. So I'm smiling and I'm looking through, and this guy was talking, that guy was talking, and all of them are trying to get their numbers up right now. All of them are trying to get online and do something when they said that was make-believe. They said it wasn't real church. And now they're gathering. I'm glad the churches are closed, because we can really see whose side God is on. There's a few churches that say, listen, we ain't never stop. We're going to keep it moving. We'll distance ourselves. We'll check temperatures, but nobody going to stop the work of God. But these other folk, them folk that love that deep state, they're going to do what the master tells them to do. So this is a good thing to show who the master, who's their leader, who's calling the shots for them. This is good stuff. Oh, that's how come I told y'all we got to get into Jeremiah. He said, Jeremiah, the word of the Lord didn't come to Jeremiah. He told him, he said, listen, go down to the potter's house, and there you'll hear the word of the Lord. And then when he went there, he saw things. So I'm watching the preachers, I'm watching the churches, I'm watching CNN, I'm watching the Black Lives Matter, and the Spirit of God is speaking. And God is speaking in this hour because we got a lot of stuff going on. So we got to know it. So Christ never had a problem with the regular people. Even what we would call the laity, he had a problem with the elders, the preachers, the bishops, and everybody else that been to seminary. Because all the Pharisees, you couldn't be a Pharisee without going to seminary. Let me give y'all Bible. Let me give y'all Bible history. They were the rulers. They were the leaders. Now, the problem is when they came on the scene, that's when we can find out some hell came on the scene. Religious hell came on the scene in the intertestamental period with the Pharisees. That's where a lot of the shifting was going on. That's why we're hearing a lot of stuff right now that'll offend some people when I put out certain questions like Ashkenazi and all of that stuff. That stuff wasn't back on the scene with Moses and them. That stuff wasn't in the wilderness with God's people, but it came on the scene later on. So we got leaders now. We got rulers now. We speaking for God now. Where y'all come from? Y'all ain't questioning these folk. Where these folk come from? And we got to start asking that. And again, when I say this, a seminary trained pastor, we're not talking about all of them. There's nothing wrong with going to seminary long as you're being led by the Ruach or the Spirit of God. See that we got too many leaders that's leading by the wrong spirit. They're leading because they uncle in them. Well, we ain't no Levites running around here. Y'all are just leading. God is calling these folk. God is still calling people to a work. Well, my father was a preacher, so I'm going to just go ahead and take over the work. No, you're running a business. That's the deep state. And this is part of it. I thought I wasn't going to talk about it, but this is what it is. It is what it is. We got to talk about these things. Let me try to go back. I see my man Mello just said something, and I'm so busy rolling. I missed him here in the super chat. Listen to this. Did Jesus join with the insurrection of his day, the Zealots, or did Jesus show a different way from the Zealots? Y'all know one of his disciples was a Zealot. He's talking about the ones that want to listen. Let's kill these folk. Let's take over and let's put you back on the throne of David. We got to kill these Romans. They want to do what they want to do with us. So we got to look at certain things. So this can be just another ploy of the enemy, because if you don't have wisdom, this will further divide the body. There's other people that's over here. Oh, y'all making it a black-white thing. No, you part of the deep state because you want to see a people secretly oppressed. You got to remember, one of the strongest things that the principalities sent down here was the division of race. This division of race. Now, other carnal people try to straighten it out. When we start talking about Prince Hall, and we start talking about the Moore Science Temple and Noble Drew Ali, they try to straighten some things out. Elijah tried to straighten out the serpent seed doctrine when they say, oh, these black people are beneath us. Like, remember the same guy, Jonathan Edward, he said they could be saved like we could be saved, but down here on this earth, they beneath us, and God has ordained it like that. That's what these people feel. And there's people that secretly have that same spirit at work. They feel this, and God just made it like that. Y'all are beneath us. We're the kid. Jesus died and made us the rulers of the planet, and that's how it is. Don't take it up with us. Take it up with God. We're his chosen people, and they may not say it out their mouth, but that's their attitudes. That's their attitudes, and there's other ones of us that say, no, God is doing a work. It's different, and so this thing don't have to do with skin color, but the enemy will constantly attempt to make it about skin color. Remember, the job of the enemy is to constantly divert you from the worship of God, constantly divert you from the word of God, constantly divert you from the truth of God. So the devil's not scared of church. The devil's not scared of Bible reading. This is what's getting everybody confused. He's not scared of the term Christianity, Israel, preacher, elder. He liked the word devil. He liked the word Jesus. The devil likes these terms. This is what got people scared. This is what got people confused, and I'm scared of them. I'm like, wow, they don't even understand. It's not what they think. The movie's got us fooled. Pull up a cross. Oh, the devil's scared you got a cross, and he gonna come into the room. That's make-believe. The devil gave y'all that to believe that nonsense. Plain and simple. The devil is a biblical scholar, and the devil is a Bible scholar as well. Oh, the devil loved Bible. What he said when he got Jesus, immediately he went to the scriptures. On Jesus? You using the word on the word? That's what he do, but how do he use the word? He said, if thou be the son of bread, cast thyself down. Look, y'all look at Luke 4, look at Matthew 4. Immediately he took him into a seemingly high mountain, and he started saying some things to him, and he started quoting Bible to him. Oh, the devil loved Bible. Oh, he loved Bible. That's all up his alley, and this is where the problems come in. This is where we're getting all these problems from. So now what we're gonna do? I should have turned on the light. Somebody's standing right there, so it's a little shade. But these are things that we have to look at. These are some things that we have to look at. Now, what do we do with the movement? How do you speak to somebody with the movement? And most of all, what would y'all say if y'all saw me with the shirt? Because some people are taking, oh, look at him. I knew it was, he talk about slavery. Now he got the shirt that say Black Lives Matter. I knew it was the devil. God, color don't matter to God. And we say slick stuff. I just want 2 or 3 people. Well, see, maybe if 2 or 3. We're a lot of us in here. Maybe 2 or 3 y'all can help me. When they say, what would I say when they say all lives matter? Black lives don't matter, all lives matter. Is a Christian, is a minister, is a believer on Messiah wrong for saying Black lives matter, let alone the shirt? And remember what I told you, there are Europeans wearing Black Lives Matter shirts also. I got plenty European brothers that's married to sisters of African descent, and vice versa. I got plenty brothers that's married, that's raising children. I got plenty people that's down with me, that's down with ministries, and they are what some people would call mulatto or mixed ethnicities, grandparents Italian and this and that, their mother's white, and they're just my family of God. They're my peeps. They're my peeps, and how should they even feel in the midst of this when they're coming around some ignorant church folk? Oh, you ain't black enough to speak on this because they light skinned. All type of crazy stuff. And what I want people to know is there's people that's confused. There's people that's confused even within the church. It doesn't make a difference if you're a preacher, if you're an elder, if your father the bishop. You're confused. I'm going to tell y'all something else too. In certain matters, the bishop could be confused in certain matters. It's possible not to have clarity because this is not his lane speaking on this thing. And we're so used to, especially in the church or in our spirituality, there's a lot of us that's used to because he's the pastor or he's our spiritual leader in this sense, that he can speak to me about finances. Y'all come to talk to me about finances, boy, y'all gonna all be broken, messed up, messing around with me. Talking about like I got an MBA, like I got a degree from Harvard or something like that in business, in business studies. Like I'm a CPA, a certified public accountant. No, I don't know nothing about that stuff. I done had a church and then ran amok with that stuff. I'm money finance, that's not me right there. But because someone's our spiritual leader, we think that they talk to God, they know about every single thing. That's not how we play the game, everybody. Let me tell you all that right now. I want to make sure I explain some stuff. Good to see you, Richardson. That's just not how the game goes. And I remember the other pastor, my man said, he said, this is we just coming in the first couple of generations where the people in the pew are more educated than a lot of the pastors, and the pastors don't have to feel a certain way. That brother's a theologian right there. That brother's an apologist right there. That brother's an accountant. If you're a pastor, if you're a leader of a congregation of assembly, you should be proud that professionals are coming in there. People whose lane, that's all they do is computer programming. Them young folk over there, they on something else. And use them and get them and use them. But a lot of times we want to hold them back. There's too many. What we're seeing is the results of a lot of young people that's been called and been gifted, and they've been held back. So they just have to, there they are, the horses, they running amok. What can we do? Now you want to get them and bring them back? Once they free, they ain't come. Why would they come back to the stable? Once they free, they see it's grass out there and they grazing and enjoying themselves and living the way they're supposed to live. Once people get free and start moving in their giftings, what make you fools think they finna come back to the zoo? People are leaving the zoo. People are leaving the zoo. And like I said, when I say these statements, I sound harsh, but we're not talking about all of the belief. When I say terms, I'll use things like Bible believers. I'll use terms like that because there's some people that come and follow us and they're way past Christianity and God's not mad at them. Then I got other people fighting. You can't tell people they got to come back to Christianity. If they don't use the word Christianity, how can they be saved? I don't know. I said, let's play another game. I like playing games because I ain't that smart. Let's play another game. Let's all of us go back to the first century. If what you believe could stand in the first century, it could stand. Everybody wasn't running around, I'm a Christian, you a Christian, everybody wasn't running in there, oh, you got to believe on the Trinity, come and repeat after me. Everybody in the first century wasn't doing that, and they were saved and they died for what they believed without the book. Without the King James Bible. Now I'm acting ignorant. Now they said, we know he going off because he's telling people God can talk to them without a Bible. Y'all got my phone dying. Oh, no. I don't even know when I can set that up. Somebody said a call-in number. I don't even know when I can set that up. But I know one thing. Sunday afternoon, I'm having it set up for everybody on Patreon. We going in on the canon. And I got that business, and we're going to discuss it. Church people, they might as well just stay away. I don't want the church people to come because we're going to talk about multiple canons, and we're going to talk about every single book that is in existence. I'm going to spend the whole summer on all of the church canons, all of the canons, and is it more beneficial? I'm going to just throw this out there before I leave. Is it more beneficial to have the Bible, have the Sephra, have the lost books of the Bible and the forgotten books of Eden, have the Dead Sea Scrolls, to have all of that, to hear God speaking from all of that? Or is it best to stick with the minimum, the 66, and be a King James only? Boy, that's trouble right there. That's going to get them preachers to say, that's why we don't like him. That's why we know the devil is using him. We're just throwing things out there, but we're going to explain all these things. The world is waiting on the Messiah to return as a lamb, and they are going to be prepared when he shows up as a roaring lion. Yep, Western Christianity has made us weak. Absolutely, I agree 100%. Now, is all Western Christianity wrong? Is all Western Christianity wrong? I'm not going to even speak on that. I'm just going to put that in there. Is all Western Christianity wrong? Is all Western Christianity wrong? Oh, man, serving. Oh, I know I got them type of Israel here. Somebody said yes down here. Oh, come on, Mello. No, not everything. Not everything. That's like I said, we got to be careful when we're dealing with that. We got to be careful because that Western Christianity is largely deep state. I can say that. Western Christianity is largely deep state. That's how come we got to be able to tell the difference. The movement of the Messiah, there's God working in individual hearts. Every single church out here is not bad. I can't even say most of the churches, but a good bit of them are influenced. There's a lot of us that's influenced, a lot of preachers that's influenced by TBN and certain things we see on TV. Good to see you, Watcher. I'm kind of hard pressed to find a good Bible believing teacher on some of these so-called Christian channels. And then I'm going to bring up one last thing. Maybe we'll do that later on because people ask me about the Geno Jennings guy. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that a little bit, and him, and different doctrines, because people are funny. Some people Some people will just get out here and make comments, and this guy's not like because someone preaches or talks different from the preacher or your bishop or the church you grow up in, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're wrong. There's so much stuff that we have to learn. Hear me today. There's so much stuff that we have to learn that we gotta really be careful in how we're moving and what we're doing and the things that we're saying. Try to judge this in your mind. Is what I'm saying biblical, or is what I'm saying tradition from church or my denomination? Because if you go through a couple of weeks playing that game and separating things in your mind, do I have scripture for this? Does this really mean this? Or that's what they told me this meant, and I've always believed it. And because I got it from the elders of my church and my mama and grandmama was doing it, they could never be wrong. Grandma could have been wrong. And that's where some of y'all get hurt. Grandma could have been wrong. Your pastor could have been wrong. And your grandfather could have been wrong. Could have been. Not saying they definitely are, but could have been. Does that mean that God used them? No, not at all. Not at all. All right, go ahead. I'm trying to see if I can see a couple of comments here. Let me see some of this. I hope I don't have to get to removing some people. Yes, okay. Oh, somebody said that they do metaphysical. Yeah, we may touch on some of that. We may touch on some of that, but I got to do the canon first. We may do some of that and explain to people why so many pastors and so many people have been involved to that, and more and more people moving into that stuff. Let me see. I'm trying to go back a little bit. All right, y'all. Let's did I catch this one? The world is waiting. Yeah. We appreciate y'all. $ Berean Teach in the Cash App if y'all wanna put $1 in there. We appreciate y'all. We're gonna come on. The Apostle said Monday morning we're gonna be on. Tomorrow afternoon, I think I might get on tomorrow afternoon, but Sunday we're gonna do 2 full-blown classes. Sunday, Monday morning, I'm gonna touch on some of that, but we going in hard Sunday evening. That's not gonna be public. That's gonna be on the Zoom for everybody in the Zoom. We open for questions and answers with the canon. We just want to pray. We just want to make sure y'all come in there. Y'all be prepared to hear what you're going to hear, because you're going to hear some stuff. This ain't like your mom in them church. You're going to hear some stuff that you might have never heard before. That don't mean it's the devil, because you heard certain things, but we just want y'all to be familiar with all the books that are out there, and we're going to tell y'all why we believe what we believe and why those people believe what they believe, and we'll just work from there. You know, there are other books. It's impossible for me to be a teacher, to be a spirit-filled teacher, and tell y'all there's no other books out there, and then y'all just do a simple Google search and be like, why would he just tell me that when I'm looking at this and I'm looking for him to give me answers? You know, those days are over. We can't do that anymore, and we're not going to do it anymore. We're gonna pray about it, and we're gonna discuss it, and it's gonna be okay. Berean, what's my Patreon? Berean Teach. I don't know. Somebody put my Patreon in there. Y'all know I can't half get on that thing half the time anyway. But I'm gonna put that link in there. I can do it from the laptop when I get back in the apartment. I can do it. I can do it from there. But I'm gonna put the link in there, and that's gonna be the Zoom Sunday afternoon Zoom for everybody that has been emailing me. Yes, Berean TV, thank you. For everybody that's been emailing me. And y'all can hit me at BereanTeach@gmail.com, $ Berean Teach on the Cash App. I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna go get ready for this class. Another class. Y'all remember me in prayer. Love y'all.